Hey, good morning. It's Friday today. Time for coffee with PC, and today's Friday treat right across the street from Pinecrest Bakery, colada. So there we go. A little special pick me up this Friday morning. We had Vacation Bible School. Denise posted one. She said these are the only shots Baptists are allowed to take. So quite enjoy that Cuban coffee from time to time. Hope you're enjoying your Friday. It is an absolutely beautiful day. The rains of the last few days, a little bit less humidity, a little cooler. Really enjoying it while it lasts, because it won't be long till we will be into the heat and humidity of summer. So enjoy this break for the next day or two while we get it. Hey, listen up. Wanted to talk today about probably a question that is on a lot of people's mind, and it's not really so much a biblical question. I got to be honest. We're going to go off that train a little bit. We're going to talk about the question that I was asked even a little bit earlier this morning. When will we be open again as a church? When will we have services again as a church? Maybe that's on your mind. Certainly, what's happened this last week, just a few days ago, our governor in Florida made the phased reopening of our state, and you may be familiar, you may have watched that news conference or read about the different things in there. There was nothing specific said about churches. Other states did make particular, I heard about Tennessee had a very specific guidance for churches in regard to reopening and that sort of thing, but there was nothing said about that. One of the reasons I think technically churches in our state were never officially closed were deemed essential, and certainly what we're doing on Wednesday night and other churches are doing through food ministries, food pantries are going to be very helpful and continue to be helpful in the days and weeks ahead. But there's nothing specific given. The guidance that you may be familiar with, on Monday, May 4th, is when the reopening phase 1 starts, where restaurants and retail can reopen 25% capacity. Inside for restaurants, they can have outdoor seating as long as they maintain social distancing. And overall, some of those things that were given are there. And the main things are continue social distancing. And the guidance also indicated that advised to stay in groups of 10 or less. And so taking all that into consideration, just so you know where we are not planning to open and have services at this point under the phase 1 guidelines under our state government. There are a lot of reasons for that. Chief among them is just health and safety. If we were to have services in a week or two, we know we would have way more than 10 people. It would be, we're not set up as it is right now to think about how we could do social distancing, but take heart. We are talking about and thinking through these things. Our state convention, the Florida Baptist Convention, has been great through all of this. They have become, their motto is right beside you. And our regional leader and catalyst, Al Fernandez in Miami, our state leader, Dr. Tommy Green, have been wonderful about helping us think through things. And they've prepared several documents of questions to consider in regard to when and how to reopen. And as we're going through those are going to be big considerations. One of those considerations is cleaning protocols. And so we're talking about that. We're trying to secure the materials we need, the disinfectant and the cleaners, the wipes, sanitizers that we will need. And if you are trying to find those things, they're very hard to find. You just can't go and go to the store and buy Lysol wipes or hand sanitizer. And even if you go online and try to order them, you can't, at least we've not found a place where you could order them and get them. It's sort of, if you go first thing, you might get them, you might not. So we're trying to secure for our church what we think is necessary, the hand sanitizer stations, disinfectant and wipes and different things of that nature, so that when we do reopen, we will have in place what is necessary to do the best we can to clean properly and to keep our facility safe and ready for people to come back to worship. The second thing we're talking about is just looking at social distancing. How are we going to organize the room itself? We may have to sit further apart now. Some churches are talking about, and I think this is wise, that family groups can sit together. As long as you're under the same roof, you've kind of been together, you can sit in your group of 3 or 4 or 6 or however many are in your family. but then to maintain the distance both in the row and rows. So we might have to go every other row in our church and then space 3 or 4 or 5 seats apart. And so we take a facility that has a capacity of 232 chairs are in there, I counted, and when you start spacing people out, that capacity goes down very quickly. So when we first get back to it, I want you to know we may have to do more than one service. And we'll try to plan and ask you to plan accordingly so we can kind of keep our numbers at a manageable number when we're able to reopen for in-person services. So there, you may walk in, it's going to look a little different. The chairs might be spaced. There may be places taped off you can't go, and there won't be as many people as normally you're used to, but it will be good. And I am looking forward to, I hope you are too, the chance when some of us can be in that same room together for worship. And so those are some of the things that we're going to think through. Another thing that may be a reality, at least at first, is we're not going to start up our full children's worship right away. It's a little harder when you put kids in those spaces for kids to maintain social distancing, and then for kids to be entrusted to adults that aren't a part of their family. At this point, it doesn't seem really wise right now to kind of mix in that way. So at first, we'll probably be coming back and ask you to sit with your family, even your kids. Now we're going to do some things. Denise is going to prepare some things so that when you come in, there'll be some things for your children, so that they will have, activity sheets or coloring sheets. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but there will be things for them to keep their attention during the service. We might even have a children's sermon time as part of that. So we're looking at various ways because we anticipate, like the state is reopening in a phased reopening. In some ways, our church ministry is going to reopen in phases, and there'll be certain things that'll come on right away and certain things that'll happen further down the line. The other part of the phasing will be probably our small group ministry will stay digital for the time being, that we will keep our small groups through Zoom, like our Bible studies that some of you are doing on Thursdays, and men's and ladies, our OC's class Sundays, the Wednesday night study. We're going to keep those online for the time being, even if we do reopen Sunday morning worship service. So what I wanted to do today is just kind of give you an idea of maybe what's on your mind as it looks like our state and parts of our country are beginning to consider opening. Even our county is going to be opening some things to locals, still keeping the stretch closed, as I heard, but opening restaurants and things according to the state guidelines. We want you to know what we're thinking. I look forward to the day when we can gather in person, in worship, in our church, at our facility. We say it's kind of ironic when you think about it. How many times do we say the church is not a building, it's the people? And yet here we are as the people wanting to come back to the building, because part of what the church isn't just individuals, it's the community of faith. And I think many of you miss that community, that connectedness that happens when we gather together. So we are trying to think through this. The scriptures tell us to do everything decently and in order. And so as leaders in the church, deacons are meeting and staff, we're talking through and trying to put in place what we think are the necessary items and the necessary steps to come to the point where hopefully soon we can say to you, all right, this Sunday, maybe it might be 2, 3, 4 weeks down the road still, but that day will come when we can say on this Sunday we're going to have in-person services. So we ask, as much as you are anxious as we are to do it, and I think everybody's anxious. We've been in our houses for a while here, and I've seen more traffic on the highway. I think that's just a symptom of people wanting to get out more. I'm tired of being stuck at home and trapped at home. Not really trapped, but keeping the idea that we're safer at home in play. We're anxious to get out, and I know church is a big part of that. It's a big part of it for me. It's a big part of it for you. So that's what we're thinking through right now. As we get some more concrete ideas, we will pass those along. But those are some things you can expect. Will we have to wear masks? Maybe. Depending on how long it is before we get to that, it might not be a bad idea to have a face covering to come to church. But we'll probably start in worship, and we'll ask you to stay with your families, no children's thing. We'll have certain cleaning protocols in place to try to protect everybody, and we might even have to do more than one service given the size of our normal crowd and the capacity of our building as we try to maintain social distances. So that's what we're thinking through. That's what we're planning. We encourage you just to keep in your home and your family, to use this time to keep pursuing, to keep reading, to keep praying, to keep gathering, even though it's digital, for worship and study, and in the way that we're able to do community, knowing that every day that we maintain these guidelines and we do these things brings us one day closer to when we can gather together. All right, well, I got a few more shots of my Cuban coffee here. I might share a few with some people in the daycare this morning. I think I'm going to sneak another one before I pass it along. I hope you have a great Friday. I hope that answered some of your questions about what's going on. I hate to hear sirens coming by here on US 1, so I'm going to stop as soon as we're done and pray for whatever that's about. I hope you have a great Friday. I hope you enjoy this beautiful day and look forward to seeing you through the digital screen as we worship again this Sunday. Everybody take care.